we are going to discuss the multiple choice question on a corporate accounting. It's a second part. Question 56. ERR means expected rate of return. Option A is correct one. Question 57. Yield value per equity shares is equal to ERR divided by NRR into dash dash. It's a paid value per equity shares. Option B is correct one. Question 58. The capital structure of Virat Limited is a 14% preference shares of rupees 100 each, rupees 5 lakhs, 10,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each, rupees 10 lakhs. The profit of the company after taxation is rupees 3,40,000. NRR is 20%. What is the yield value per equity share? First, we have to find out the profits available to equity holders. We make the workings. First part is a profits available to equity holders. A given profit is rupees 3,40,000, which is after taxation. From this one, just we have to deduct preference share dividend, which is 14% on rupees 5 lakhs. It comes 70,000. After deducting, profit remains rupees 2,40,000, which is profits available to equity holders. Now, second part, we have to find out ERR means expected rate of return. Now, expected rate of return. Now, the formula is profits available to equity holders divided by paid up equity capital into 100. Now, putting the values, profit available to equity holders rupees 2,40,000 and paid up equity capital rupees 10 lakhs divided by 10 lakhs into 100. It comes 24% is a expected rate of return. Now third part is a yield value per equity share. Formula is ERR means expected rate of return divided by NRR means normal rate of return into paid up value per equity share. Put in the values, 24 upon normal rate of return is a 20% divided by 20 into paid up value per equity shares rupees 100 each into 100, and answer comes rupees 120 is a yield value per equity shares. This is the answers. C in option. Option A is correct one. Question 59. Block capital means a fixed assets. Option A is correct one. Question 60. Fair value is equal to intrinsic value plus yield value divided by dash dash. Here fair value is a average of intrinsic value and a yield value. Average is find out dividing number of items. There are number of items are 2, therefore it should be divided by 2. Answer is 2. C in answers. Option C is correct one. Question 61. Intrinsic value per share rupees 12, yield value per share rupees 15. What is the fair value? It is just an average of the two figures. Average is find out 12 plus 15 divided by 2. It's a 27 divided by 2. Its answer comes 13.5 is answers. C in option. Option C is correct one. Fair value rupees 12.30. Market value rupees 10.35. What is the intrinsic value? We have to find out. The formula is fair value is equal to intrinsic value plus yield value or market value upon 2. Here it is market value. Now putting the values, fair value is a 12.30. Intrinsic value we have to find out plus yield value, market value rupees 10.35. upon 2 by transferring 12.30 into 2 is equal to intrinsic value plus 10.35. Now, by multiplication, 24.60 minus 10.35 is equal to intrinsic value. An answer comes here 14.25. This is the answer C in option. Option A is correct one. Question 63. If the preference shares have priority over the equity shares for repayment of capital and they are non-participating, its value is equal to the paid-up value plus arrears of preferential dividend. Here, option B is correct one. Question 64. If the preference shares are participating preference shares, they are entitled to share in a dash profits along with the shares in addition to their fixed dividend. Here, they are entitled to share in a surplus profits. Is answers C in option. Option A is correct one. Question 65. The capital structure of a limited company is a 10,000 equity shares of which 10 each and 5,006% preference shares of which 10 each. The amounts available to shareholders including preference shares rupees 2,36,000. What is the intrinsic value of both type of shares? Here we have to find out the amounts available to equity shareholders. Total amounts is given rupees 2,36,000 including preference shares. From this one, just we have to date preference share capital. Rupees 5,000 shares of which 10 each, it comes 50,000. Now, answer comes 1,86,000. This is the amount available to equity shareholders. Now, intrinsic value per equity shares formula is amounts available to equity shareholders divided by total number of equity shares. Equity shares. Put in the values 1,86,000 divided by number of equity shares are 10,000. We have to divide 10,000. And answer comes 18.60 is the value of equity shares. Now value of preference shares is as it's a face value or as it is a paid up value. Preference shares paid up value rupees 10 each. It's a value of the preference shares and equity shares value rupees 18.60. See in answers 18.60 and preference shares 10. Here option A is correct one. Question 66. Bringing to an end the corporate life of a company under legal proceeding is called as a liquidation of a company. Option A is correct one. Question 67. Liquidation of a company is also called as a winding up of a company. Option B is correct one. Question 68. Which of the following is mode of winding up? Options are given: compulsory winding up, voluntary winding up under the supervision of the court, and any of the above. Here option D is correct one. Option D is correct answers. Question 69. Any administrator appointed a person to work the process of liquidation of a limited company is called as a liquidator. Option B is correct one. Question 70. Which of the following is included as type of liquidation? Options are given: voluntary liquidation, compulsory liquidation, both A and B, and none of these one. Here, voluntary liquidation and compulsory liquidation are the type of liquidation. Therefore, both are correct one. Option C is correct one. Question 71. In case of solvent company, dash may resolve to wind up and may appoint a liquidator and fix his remuneration, duties and powers in a general meeting. Here, in case of solvent company, members may resolve. Here option A is correct one. Question 72. In case of A company is insolvent. Dash may resolve to wind it off and appoint a liquidator. Here, a creditors may resolve. See in answers. Option B is correct one. Question 73. Which of the following is reasons the company is required to be wind off? Options are given. Inability to pay debts. Option B, compulsory winding off. Option C, voluntary winding off. And option D, all of the above. Here, all of the above three reasons are correct one. Therefore, option D is correct answer. Question 74. In case of compulsory liquidation, a statement of affairs of the company has to be prepared in the prescribed form and it is to be submitted to the official liquidator within a died days. There are 21 days. Option C is correct one. Question 75. When the affairs of the company are fully wound off, the liquidator prepare a statement is called as a liquidator's final statement of account. Here, option P is correct one. Question 76. IBC 2016 means Indian Bankruptcy Code 2016. This is answers. Option A is correct one. Question 77. The IBC 2016 is not applicable to. Options are given. Banks, financial institution, insurance company and all of the above. Here, all of the above is correct answers. Option D is correct answer. Question 78. The creditors may be of. Options are given. Secured, unsecured, preferential and all of the above. Option D is correct answer. Question 79. Preferential creditors are considered as a unsecured. Option B is correct answer. Question 80. Section 327 of the Companies Act 2013. Which of the following is not included in a preferential creditors? Options are given. All revenues, taxes, cesses, rates due to the government. Option B. All wages, salaries payable to any employee for a period not exceeding 4 months within 12 months before winding up. These are the included one. Option C. All sums due to any employee from the Provident Fund, Pension, Gratuity Fund. This is also included. Only none of the above is correct answer. Therefore, option D is correct answer. Which of the following is method of fixation a remuneration of a liquidator? Options are given. Fixed or lump sum amount. Option B, the percentage based on the assets realized. Option C, the percentage based on payment to unsecured creditors or contributories. And option D, any one or all of the above. Here, option D is correct answer. Any one or all of the above is correct answer. Option D is correct answer. Question 82. When liquidator's remuneration is based on percentage of assets realized by him, unless otherwise stated, which of the following is not taken into account for calculation of remuneration? Options are given. Cash and bank balance, calls in arrears, amount recovered from secured creditors and all of the above. Here, all of the above is not considered for remuneration purposes. Option D is correct answer. Question 83. Unless otherwise stated, preferentials are to be presumed as. Options are given. Cumulative preferentials, non-participating preferentials, having preferentials for repayment of capital over equity shares. And option D, all of the above. Here, all of the above is correct answers. Option D is correct one. Question 84. The liquidator's remuneration is fixed at 2% on the total asset realized. The assets realized were stock rupees 30, building rupees 1,60,000 and other assets rupees 2,40,000. What is the amount of liquidator's remuneration? Here, total asset realized 240 plus 160 is a 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs plus 30,000 is a 4,30,000. On this one, the remuneration is 2%. 2%, it comes 8,600. This is the answers. C in option. Option B is correct one. Question 85. The secured creditors holding charge on stock realized for rupees 1,10,000. The creditors liability rupees 1 lakh. It means the surplus asset realized rupees 10,000. The other asset realized by liquidator were machinery rupees 3,50,000, furniture rupees 5,000 and debtors rupees 1,85,000. Now total asset realized rupees 5,50,000 at a 2% remuneration is a 11,000. This is answers C in option. Option A is correct one. Question 86. The liquidus remission is fixed at 2% on the amount paid to unsecured creditors. The amount payable to unsecured creditors rupees 1,32,000 and available cash balance is rupees 1,24,464. What is the amount of liquidus remission? Here, amount payable to creditors rupees 132 and available cash balance rupees 124,464. If the available cash balance is not sufficient to pay the full amount of creditors, then liquidus remission is calculated as a amount available divided by 100 plus 2 into 2. Now putting the values, amount available 1,24,464 divided by 102 into 2, and answer comes rupees 2,440. Student may use the calculator. This is answer. Option B is correct one. Question 87. Liquidus remission is fixed at 2% on amount paid to unsecured creditors. The amount payable to unsecured creditors is 90,000 and available cash balance rupees 1,50,000. What is the amount of the liquidus remission? Here, amount payable to unsecured creditors rupees 90,000 and available cash balance is rupees 1,50,000. Here, available cash balance is sufficient to pay the full amount of creditors. We directly find out the 2% on 90,000. 2% on 90,000, it comes 1,800. This is the answer C in option. Option A is correct one. Question 88. Liability side of balance sheet includes amount payable to government rupees 500, workmen's compensation and gratuity fund rupees 4,500, salary and wages for 6 months rupees 2,400. What is the amount of preferential creditors? Here, amount payable to government is a fully preferential creditors rupees 500. Also, amount payable to workmen's compensation and gratuity fund rupees 4,500 is also fully preferential. But salary and wages payable to employees or workers maximum up to for 4 months is a preferential. Here 2,400 is for 6 months. 2,400 for 6 months. We have to find out only for 4 months only. Then its calculation will be 1,600 and total amount will be rupees 6,600 is a preferential creditors. See in answers. Option B is correct one. Question 89. The creditors appear in balance sheet rupees 2,59,500 including preferential creditors rupees 4,800 and loan of rupees 75,000 secured by stock. The liquidator is entitled to a remuneration at 5% on amount paid to unsecured creditors, assuming that the available cash balance is sufficient to pay creditors and unsecured creditors. What is the amount of liquidus remission? Here, total creditors rupees 2,59,500. Out of this, secured creditors rupees 75,000. We have to subtract one secured creditors. Remaining balance is 1,84,500. The available cash balance is sufficient to pay full amount of creditors. Then directly we have to find out the 5% on rupees 1,84,500. It comes 9,225. This is answers. Student may use the calculator. Option C is correct one. Question 90. Dash can be defined as a systematic control over the purchase, storage and usage of material. Options are given: material management, purchase management, production management and all of the above. Here all of the above is correct answer. Option D is correct one. Question 91. Which of the following operation is not covered in material control? Options are given: purchase of material, storage of material, issue and usage of material and none of the above. Here all of the above three options are covered in material control. Only D option is correct one. None of the above is correct answers. Question 92. Advantages of efficient material management includes. Options are given: eliminates wastage of material, reduce requirement of working capital, reduce the risk of loss from fraud and theft and all of the above. Here all of the above is correct answer. Option D is correct one. Question 93. Dash is person appointed to take care of store is a storekeeper. See in answers. Option B is correct one. Question 94. Which of the following is not a function of storekeeper? Options are given: checking of material, classification and codification of material, issuing of material, and none of these one. Here, all of the above three are the functions of storekeeper. Only option D is correct one. None of the above is correct answers. Option D is correct one. Question 95. Which of the following method of coding of materials? Options are given: alphabetical method, numerical method, alphabetical cum numerical method, and all of the above. Here, all of the above is correct answer. Option D is correct one. Question 96. Opening stock of material plus purchase of raw material minus closing stock of raw material is a die dash. Options are given: material consumed, material used, A and B, and D creditors. Here, material consumed and material used are the same one. Therefore, option C is correct one. Question 97. Die dash term used to symbolize the place or shelf or a rack where the materials are stored. It is a bin card. Here, option B is correct one. Question 98. In which of the following ways the stores may be organized? Options are given: centralized stores, decentralized stores, combination of A and B, and option D, any one of the above. Here, all of the three options are correct one. Therefore, option D is correct answer. Question 99. Purchase rate per unit is equal to total purchase price divided by die dash. Here, divided by a total quantity. Option A is correct one. Question 100. Which of the following is not included in a total amount of purchase bill? Options are given: total purchase amount as invoice bill, coolie charges, carriage outward, and carriage inward. Here, purchase amount bill is included, coolie charges also included, carriage inward is also included. Only carriage outward is not included. Therefore, option C is correct one. Question 101. 1000 units purchased by Automobile Management Company at rupees 200 each, including GST, by paying a transport charges rupees 10,000 and octroi and cartage rupees 5,000. What is the purchase price per unit? Now see, 1000 quantity at rupees 2,000, it comes 2 lakhs rupees. Total amount of bill. Then transport charges rupees 10,000, it will be added. Then octroi and cartage, it also will be added. And total amount will be 2,15,000. For a 1000 units, then again we have to divide 1000. And answer comes rupees 215. This is the purchase price per unit. See in answers, option A is correct one. Question 102. Die dash is maintained by costing department, wherein on each page quantity as well as value-wise record of receipts, issues, closing balance of all times in the store is maintained. It is a store ledger. Option A is correct one. Question 103. Die dash records the quantity of materials in a stores is a bin card. Option B is correct one. Question 104. Die dash records both quantity and value of materials is a store ledger. Option A is correct one. Question 105. GRN means goods received note number. Option B is correct one. Question 106. Which of the following is not a method of valuation of closing stock? Options are given: first in first out method, last in first out method, average cost method. All of the above are the method of valuation of closing stock. Only none of these above is not included. Therefore, option D is correct one. Question 107. Which of the source of document generated in Tally ERP9? Options given: bill invoice, check, pay slip, withdrawal slip, debit note, credit note, and all of the above. Here, all of the above is correct answer. Option D is correct one. Which of the following item shall not keep in his stock by a computer dealer? Options given: CPU, hard disk, keyboard, monitors, and software. Here, software is not kept in the stock by computer dealer. Option D is correct one. Question 109. Weighted average cost per unit is equal to total cost of goods in inventory divided by die dash. Here, total units in inventory is correct answer. Option A is correct one. These are the multiple choice questions and answers are given in last page. These are the answers. See. Okay. Thank you.